the status quo. We gonna buck the status quo. Oh, bucking the status quo. We gonna buck the status quo. Bucking the status quo. We gonna buck the status quo. Oh, bucking the status quo. We gonna buck the status quo. Bucking the status quo. We gonna buck the status quo. Oh, bucking the status quo. We gonna buck the status quo. The foundation leads the fight. The warriors lead the tribe. When the beat drops and the spirits rise, we find the truth behind the disguise. They want us to go away, only our hearts do we obey. The foundation leads the fight. The warriors lead the tribe. When the beat drops and the spirits rise, we find the truth behind the disguise. They want us to go away, only our hearts do we obey. No ranks, no chains, just unity. One tribe, one light, one destiny. No ranks, no chains, just unity. One tribe, one light, one destiny. Bucking the status quo. We gonna buck the status quo. Oh, bucking the status quo. We gonna buck the status quo. Bucking the status quo. We gonna buck the status quo. Oh, bucking the status quo. We gonna buck the status quo. No ranks, no chains, just unity. One tribe, one light, one destiny. No ranks, no chains, just unity. One tribe, one light, one destiny. Bucking the status quo. We gonna buck the status quo. Oh, bucking the status quo. We gonna buck the status quo. Bucking the status quo. We gonna buck the status quo. Oh, bucking the status quo. We gonna buck the status quo.
All right, everybody. Welcome back again. It's our Friday live stream. I'm Will Wisner. I'm the Executive Director here at the Grunt Foundation. And joining me today are a couple of familiar faces. We've got Roy Bowen, who is leading our efforts in all things Reverent Warriors in the St. Louis, Missouri chapter. Welcome, Roy. And over here to my left, your guys is right on the screen, is the wonderful and talented
So right.
Quincy Myrick, and she is the former state commander for the state of Missouri for the Veterans of Foreign Wars, and now she is the new state's judge advocate. So let's jump straight into that.
Okay.
Let's talk about what is the judge advocate. What does the judge advocate do?
The judge advocate is there to advise and help people stay within our bylaws. People that need help interpreting our bylaws, want to take an action at a post or district level.
Yeah.
I'm there to help them do it properly.
There we go.
And sometimes tell them when they're not.
All right. Well, for all of our IW listeners there and you younger crowd, Quincy's essentially the dungeon master of the all things on the old bylaws of how the VFW runs. Well, before we get into our longer conversation today, Roy, I thought we'd start off with our IW update. I think we're getting some viewers who are starting to join the stream here. We got, hey, shout out to Blake Richardson. Good afternoon, brother. Doing good work up there in your area, as always, I'm sure. Keeping that HBOT trainer rolling. So what's going on IW, man?
So we have, this weekend we have the Spokane hike coming up. Bill is out there this week. He's going to give his story and his pledge.
Oh, yeah, so Bill Wilkie is going around the country. His brother was Mike Wilkie, who was one of our local coordinators up in the great state of Wisconsin.
And a fantastic human being.
The best of the human beings. So we do an annual award every year for the leaders called the Be Like Mike Award, where we take the person that best exemplifies the heart and drive of what this mission is all about. And Mike exemplified all those things. Unfortunately, he passed away unexpectedly and tragically this past year. So we always take every opportunity we can to mention Mike and keep his spirit going and engaged in this community. His brother Bill was deeply impacted by the work that Mike has been doing, and he kind of found himself in IW. He had a lot of struggles. There's Bill there on the screen right now. He's saw the impact that Mike had. Unfortunately, probably a little too late. Mike was already in some serious health situations, and again, he tragically passed away. And it was, through that unfortunate series of events there that Bill came to really understand the impact that his brother had on thousands of veterans that were oftentimes coming from some rough places that everybody can kind of understand. And so his legacy is living on that way. Bill now goes around to different IW events around the country, and he gives a pledge that he has everybody recite, which is essentially a promise to not take your own life. And so it's meaningful work. So Bill's out there doing the good work in Spokane this week. Well, Godspeed to you, Bill. What else we got going on?
Well, next week we have Chicago. We're back in Chicago, baby.
Chi-town.
Yep. And then following that, the following week, we have the 4th of July and all the fun stuff associated with that.
Yeah, tell us about that real quick, because that's a big thing. Let's put a plug into it. If you're listening to this podcast, man, we want you to come to St. Louis and party with us here on the 4th. It's the big 250. It's the birthday of all the birthdays of our divorce from Britain.
As I've been saying all year, the biggest party yet.
It is. Hey, tell us about what goes on at that event. I don't know that everybody fully understands the scope and scale of what we're doing, but it's the largest fireworks display in North America, right there at the
It's
Arch.
going to be giant. So it's 2 days, the 3rd and the 4th. Our activities all go down on the 4th. But on the 3rd, we have Ludacris is going to be the headliner. They're going to have fireworks on the 3rd. They're going to have a drone show on the 3rd.
On the 3rd? They're
On
doing
the
a drone show
3rd.
too? Really? That's really getting big then.
And then on the 4th, gates open earlier. It'll be a whole day of just fun on the Arch grounds.
Yeah, bring sunscreen. And
Lots of sunscreen.
It gets
And
hot.
apply it often.
Yeah, it gets a little
Very
burnt.
often.
Gets a little burnt.
And so then we have Kenny Loggins, Miranda Lambert playing on the
big
4th,
stage,
the
yeah.
big stage. We have a parade. IW is going to be in the parade on the 3rd.
Oh man,
We're gonna have a blast.
I know we had a limited set of tickets because of the nature of this event and how big it is this year. The Department of Homeland Security is pretty heavily involved, and there's just all sorts of rules that we have to work through to make all this stuff happen. So, we have a limited number of seats. How are we setting on those tickets? Are we on the overflow yet?
Ooh, we are definitely in the overflow on that, but there's still plenty of space outside of that area
Oh, yeah, it's
for
huge.
people to join, and we'll be in and out all day long.
And people don't typically sit in the VIP area all day. And
No,
just stay
you'd miss
there. You're
out on
moving
so
in and
much
out.
stuff,
Right.
so much cool stuff around there.
So then is it safe to say that it's not a sold out event in that context? It's just we'll still let people in and out of as what capacity will hold in the VIP area, and just come enjoy the rest of the activities there at the Arch and funnel in and out of the VIP section.
Yes, if you join us down there and you know us, we will do whatever we can to help you out.
There you go.
Make your experience fantastic.
Well, there you go. Where do people get tickets for that, Roy?
So you can go to irreverentwarriors.com or irreverentwarriors.org. go to get involved, and it's on the calendar for the 4th. Just click right there, go to purchase tickets.
There we go. One more time on the website.
irreverentwarriors.org.
All right, there we go. Hope to see everybody there at the 4th of July. I know we will be there, sweating right alongside of everybody else. You going to come, Quincy? You coming?
Of course, I'm going to be there on the 3rd.
Yeah, right on. You're coming early. So why are they doing the I mean, that's a big expansion. The drone show last year was incredible. I mean, that was really something. But it was kind of a commercial for the new Superman movie. That was.
Oh, it absolutely was. Kind of don't mind with that, though.
Well,
he is the comic book character that is right there with Captain America on America.
Well, okay. Before they woke him up. Yeah.
I'd ignore that.
Yeah, it's DC. You know, at any rate. So, yeah, we've got some stuff coming down the old pipe with that. Anything else going on in IW World?
I mean, we continue our calendar across the country. Across the world, because on the 4th, we are also going to run the hike in Frankfurt, Germany.
Oh, nice.
Oh, cool.
And we just did the Normandy hike, too. This last month. Yeah.
Just last month. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. My buddy, Jared Lemon, who is a dear friend. He was a Army guy, lost his right arm in Afghanistan, and he was a artisan. He made really intricate jewelry, and so he has kind of taken his tragedies and really forged something amazing and cool with it on his path of healing, and we love to highlight all that work. I went down to Colombia, down in the Amazon with Jared, and he just jumped into the off of a C-47 on the Market Garden, I guess it was. They were jumping onto that area. I think it was that one, or maybe it was in France. But at any rate, there's video of it on my Facebook profile if anybody wants to see Jared jump out of an airplane. But he's a big IW guy that we love to highlight and shout out.
Yeah, the VFW National Commander, the Commander-in-Chief jumped off.
Yeah,
jumped for that too.
Right. Yeah, Carol.
Well, she was going to, but the weather.
Did she not get to make it?
They were unable to make the jump. She was already all suited up, but the weather wasn't favorable.
Hey, everybody that watches this, that was in the 101st knows, or 100. I'm sorry, the 82nd knows all about sitting on the tarmac for 8 hours, getting on a plane, flying around for 6 hours, then landing again and not getting to jump.
Yeah, I did that on Monday or Sunday night, and that was that was another thing that's happened in Grunt style land here over the last week. We had a meeting with the VA Secretary Doug Collins out in D.C. on Monday. And I was supposed to be there with Derek Blumke. We were there to talk about this issue of overprescription of psychotropic medications. We had Mr. Rangalucci and Brian Walker from the VFW's national leadership team was the VFW's reps at that. And I got on board the plane at about 3:45. We sat on the tarmac for close to an hour and a half. We finally took off. We circled over, I think it was around Columbus, Ohio, waiting for the tower to give us guidance so we could land in D.C., and they couldn't give them the direction, so we just kept circling. And finally they said, all right, we got to call it. We don't have enough gas to get to D.C. if we wait any longer, so we had to turn around and come back to St. Louis. So totally understand that. Not an airborne experience, but it's funny. What's going on with the air traffic stuff in the country? Anyway, that seems to be every time I fly
the
now.
Travel gods, somebody saying angered the travel gods.
Well, how do we make them happy? Because I'll pitch
know.
in.
Dan West hasn't figured it out yet. He gets delayed every time he travels.
Yeah, isn't that infuriating? Oh, man. Well, Quincy, are you going to keep running for different offices inside the VFW?
I don't know. I'm not ready to give up yet.
Okay. I was going to try to get you to do a commitment to make that jump since Carol didn't get to make it.
That. No, I won't commit that. No.
I wouldn't do it either.
These old knees will not do that.
Mine would shoot right out both sides.
Yeah.
Well, let's get into the VFW stuff and the beyond the topic, unless we have anything else you're wanting to shout out. I know we've got beyond the 4th of July. We're getting ready to do the integration event in September.
I was going to say, I was going to sneak into your lane there.
Yeah, go for it.
We opened up, my understanding, we opened up tickets for integration this week.
We opened up the call for instructors is what we've done, and the ticket sales will follow behind that in short term. But right now, what we're trying to just bring in some new instructors and round out and offer some more opportunities for those that aren't familiar. We have an event up in Troy, Missouri at the Quiver River State Park at the Sherwood Forest Campground, and that event runs the 18th, 19th, and 20th of September this year, and we bring in a couple hundred people usually attend that, and then we have some overflows that don't get to camp on the ground with us. It can only hold so much, but we bring in 30 different practitioners from 30 different disciplines, from all sorts of different things, everything from horse equine therapy to cold plunges and sound healing with singing bowls and drums and all kinds of things like that. We also bring in like shamanic practitioners from the Amazon that come, and they're all teaching about these modalities, and our intention here is to try to demystify some of these things and kind of share information on how these things can be helpful. And our overall goal is that our attendees will find something that sparks and resonates with them that they'll want to continue to follow up on, either with that person that they get to interact with at our event, or maybe something similar in their neck of the woods. We have people come from all over the place to that event. Last year we had a friend that came all the way from Sweden to attend that event.
That's impressive.
It's catching on.
Super great girl, too.
Yeah, it's catching on, man. So, yeah, that's September 18th through the 20th this year, everybody. You can go over to gruntstylefoundation.org. On the events section, you can, we're going to have some tickets that will be available for sale. That's already live, but we're not promoting it quite yet. So consider this an early bird. If you're hearing this and you want to go ahead and get your ticket, then you snuck one in on everybody else. So spaces are limited. It's the benefit of catching the show, I guess. And we've got registration. If you're somebody that is a practitioner of whatever these alternative healing modalities, maybe you're somebody that can really teach people and explain the benefits of hiking or fishing or whatever. We'd love to have you out there and share that information with the vets and the community that comes. It's not just for veterans and first responders. This is an event that's open to the general public, but the focus is over on that. So yeah, that's I think that's that. We'll mark that one off the list. All right, let's talk.
I went on my first silky hike.
Oh, did you?
You didn't know that?
I didn't know that.
I was in Kansas City.
Oh, you did the KC hike.
Yeah.
How was it?
It was neat. It was really neat. I didn't know what to expect, and I get it. I understand it now. You know, it's really neat. It was everyone was very welcoming and very warm, and I felt like I belonged.
Well, good. Well, are you going to hike on the 4th of July? Because I think IW is hiking in that parade.
Yeah, no. It's going to be hot. No.
Yeah, you ain't kidding. It's going to be hot. July 4th in St. Louis on the river. Just bring a towel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
At 4 o'clock in the afternoon.
Yeah, that's kind of a rough time on it. But you know what? The fireworks make it worth. The founding fathers, they're the ones that said we're getting down on the 4th of July. That's all their fault.
Okay.
In their defense, they didn't care about the weather because it was the 4th of July, 4th of July in New England.
Well, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I don't know though. They were making designs down from Philadelphia down to DC. It was already in their thought. Let's go do that swamp thing. We should drain that swamp and put our national's capital in the most miserable, hot place in the world.
Did we let it refill?
I don't know if they ever drained it.
They painted it.
Well, then the reflecting pool. You catching all the crazy stuff going on with this reflecting pool nonsense right now. And then they had the UFC tournament. Man, did anybody watch that?
No.
The UFC fight from
I was exhausted on Sunday.
Oh man, did you watch any of the video or anything from it?
I saw some of it, but
cool.
I mean the fights are fun to watch on replay if you know what you're watching for. But the real fun of watching a fight is in the moment, the unpredictability, the just admiring the athleticism and the skill of those athletes.
But just how cool is it we had a UFC fight on the White House lawn? I mean, that can go one of two ways in people's perception. It's either people think it's the coolest thing since sliced bread, and everybody else thinks it's whoever the president guy character was from Camacho from Idiocracy. And we're going to have like Brondo has electrolytes, and that's what plants crave. It kind of felt like it could go that way, but I thought it was pretty classy.
I enjoyed the motocross exhibit the day before.
I didn't see that.
Yeah, they had motorcycles jumping,
Didn't know that either.
doing tricks on the lawn and all that.
On the lawn?
Yeah, they set up the ramps and everything.
Really?
Yeah.
That's okay. We're definitely in the rabbit hole. But I'm here for it. Keep doing it. Yeah, I thought the fights were cool. They had them, the fighters, and they normally come down and they got the music going and all that stuff, and they got their handlers and their coaches walking them. Yeah, this was different. They started in the White House, and they paired up every fighter with someone that was a first responder, so a firefighter or cop or something like that, and then they paired them up also with a recipient of the Medal of Honor. And so that's who escorted them out of the White House down to the Octagon. So it's pretty cool. And the combined services choir and band or orchestra or whatever you want to call it did all of the music that they always play as they come down, and it was really well done. I thought, there's no way that's going to work good.
My daughter has designs on one day being in that band.
That's right. She joined the Marine Corps for the band, didn't she?
Yep, she ships out in September. Yeah, September.
Wow, how do you feel about that?
I had higher hopes for her than the Marine Corps.
Oh, yeah, that was all right, guys.
But I love my Marines, and she loves the Marines. So that's all that really matters.
Well, do you think there's another branch of the military that has a better band, or what's your thinking?
No.
There?
For that purpose, she has definitely hands down picked the right branch for that. But she's in a family full of Army. We're all a little disappointed.
Right, now you know that if you're going to spend the entire rest of your life, the day she comes back from boot camp, being told how you are lower on the totem pole than she is.
Yeah, I told her that she better expect for the rest of her life, I will be making, or the rest of my life anyway, I will be making crayon jokes at her forever.
Well, how old is she now?
She's 18.
Okay, so she's already in that age range where you are already lower on the totem pole, and she tells you all about it all the time.
No, the boy was definitely there
Yeah.
at that age. When she turned 18, it was like she became rational and normal and like a human being again. It was like 3 years ahead of schedule. I was very pleasantly surprised.
Oh, good. All right. Well, welcome, Kaylee, to the ranks of the veteran community, or the military community, I guess. She's got a ways to go before she gets that veteran status, but yeah, well, right on.
She's ready. She's been preparing.
Yeah, she's good. She's a good trooper, man. She's got good head on her shoulders too. Well, congratulations on that, man. So let's now get into the meat of what we're here to talk about today. So we have Miss Quincy Myrick here again, everybody, and she's going to talk to us today about some interesting things that are afoot in the veteran community, and we had an opportunity about a week ago for the Missouri VFW convention. You were down that way. And we arranged a special showing of a very impactful movie that is covering a topic that is our primary concern here at Grunt Foundation, and that is the issue of overprescription of these psychotropic class of medications, SSRIs, antidepressants, benzodiazepines, antipsychotics. You tell us a little bit about what you guys did down there and how it was received and what the movie itself was about.
So the movie itself, Medicating Normal, is all about, it follows 6 individuals and their journey through the side effects, as terrible as they are, of these classifications of medications. And it does not pull any punches at all. Actually, David has a clip. We'll just show you the preview right now.
I mean, if he really wanted to commit suicide, there's nothing I could do about it, but I wasn't gonna make it easy.
I just got back from Iraq. I used to drive her daughter to school, and I just had the worst thoughts. The school's gonna blow up, all the kids would be dead. Oh my God, am I gonna be the one that does it?
She came into our bedroom. She was shaking. She said the hallucination touched me and asked me to come into the kitchen so I could hurt myself.
I genuinely thought that there were people here in the room. I knew that they weren't there, but they were there, and I couldn't explain that away.
And he prescribed me this drug, lorazepam. I took it for 6 years. And
You took lorazepam for 6 years?
6.5 years.
The package insert from the manufacturer clearly states lorazepam is only for short-term use, maybe 2 to 4 weeks.
Dave told me probably on our 3rd or 4th date that he was on medication for depression and ADHD.
I went to the psychiatrist and said, this stuff isn't for me. I need to get off it. I think the drug is my problem. That's really when shit hit the fan.
They're an uppers and downers, and every time they go in, it's their deteriorating mental condition instead of somebody saying your drug may be your problem.
I had brain zap, I had tremors, I had severe night sweats.
In 1980, American Psychiatric Association adopted a disease model and began to tell that story to the American public. You know who was so happy with that story? The pharmaceutical industry.
Which now wants to diseasify every single experience because they want to sell their pills to treat it.
So now we believe in magic bullets. Pretty soon we're going to be having magic bullets for everything.
You are not able to be around soldiers and no weapons. You have PTSD now. Just take this medicine, it'll make you feel better.
People come home from war and they're frequently grieving and suffering tremendously, but none of that's pathology. It's grief.
We lost a 50-something-year-old woman whose doctor cold turkeyed her off of Klonopin, and she walked in front of a train because she couldn't deal with it anymore.
One of the things that's happened in our culture is that normal has been confused by marketers of all kinds with comfortable. And if you're uncomfortable in any way, there's something wrong.
So now I'm like, it was not me. It was their fucking drugs.
Well, all right, that's some heavy content, guys, and that is some disturbing stuff. And the part that always hits me on that is, for if you're a veteran today, you completely understand that, or you know somebody who has gone through that, and it's very difficult to try to explain what that experience is to people that haven't gone through it. We think that these medications are there to help us. And that is certainly the intention, and there are times that it can be helpful to be numbed down a little bit, but this is not something that is ever meant to have been something to have people on for multiple years. And we routinely, through our work, run into people that have been on these things for 16 to 20 years sometimes, because you don't get addicted to these things, you get dependent upon them, because when you try to come off of them, it's twice as bad as when you're on them. And so, I mean, they're already got a side effect of an increase in your suicidal or homicidal ideation. And when you come off the things, that kicks into super high gear. And we just had, unfortunately, another occurrence of exactly that same thing just happened down in San Antonio this week. We had, when Ricky Ramos took his life at the VA facility there at Audie Murphy VA Hospital in San Antonio, that was in under 8 months of MA2 Mark Miller, who was a Navy veteran, that also took his life in the parking lot of Audie Murphy VA. And in both situations, they were guys that were suffering like the people in that movie were suffering on the daily. That was their daily content of life and their quality of life. And they had been reaching out for help. And, this was often the case in this situation. The VA's response to that is either let's dial in your medication and you go on a different medication, or they give you an increase in dosage on your current medication, which oftentimes just makes things even more worse again. They'll do that, or they'll say, oh, your disease is progressing. We're not looking at these underlying issues within this issue, and it's awful. I'm a good friend with one of the subject matter people in the movie, Miss Angie Peacock. She does incredible work on that. She's dedicated her life now to teaching people how to safely titrate off of these meds, and this is a skill set that is lacking with the healthcare professionals. It's the med schools do a real good job of training physicians and prescribers which medications to use when, but they don't do really much of anything in terms of how to get off of them. And the other crazy thing I'll say about that movie that's very tragic, the gentleman that was the husband in the movie, and both of the couple were trying to get off. Yeah, he lost his battle to suicide about 2 years ago. So that really makes that movie especially powerful, because it connects it in an entirely different way that's on that. But everybody, this movie is free to watch. You can watch it at medicatingnormal.com, and you can watch the whole movie for free there. And we're going to do our best to try to spread awareness of what this issue actually looks like by trying to get as many veterans that we can to watch it, because we need more allies.
It's also on YouTube.
It is on YouTube. You can search for Medicating Normal. And you know where the name of that movie came from? Medicating Normal?
No, but I after watching it, I understand exactly where they were going with the name of it.
Yeah, what do you think it is?
It's teaching people that, let me figure out how to say this well. There is discomfort in living, and you have to learn to enjoy the good and accept the not so good.
Yeah, it's talking to the folks that produced it. They had a really good explanation, background story on it, and it's that these feelings we feel, these grief, this PTSD, things that are tied up into that. These are all normal emotions, and they're part of the human experience. We got to process these emotions. We got to integrate them in the lessons that they bring into our lives so that we can move forward with it. And essentially, what we're doing is, with all these things that are normal, we're medicating normal. We're interrupting the actual healing process is really kind of where that's going.
And you never heal.
That's right.
As long as you're medicated, you never heal. And that's the big thing. People need to learn how to heal, and there's ways to do it without medicines.
That's right.
And you said that, we encourage every veteran to see this, and we do, but every veteran's family also. Because if the veteran doesn't see it, what's going on with them, their family probably does. And instead of just medicating someone that's having a problem dealing, they just keep medicating them again and again and again. And then that's why you have people on these huge cocktails of medicine that is only doing damage because they haven't learned how to try to cope. And that goes back to, we were talking about the old timers, shell shock. They called it shell shock. That's PTSD, and we all know that that's PTSD. But it was considered a weakness then, and now at least we're talking about it and we're trying to deal with it.
That's right.
The informed consent is so important for people who don't know what that is, and that's at least telling people before they start any kind of medication what the side effects can be, what it can do to you, and what it's not doing for you. And that's more important than anything. Not anything, but we have so many people are medicated and they have no idea why they're feeling the way they do. They don't know it's the medicine making them feel worse.
Oh, yeah.
Because they haven't been told.
Well, so when we showed it last week at the conference, I probably had a dozen veteran parents who, you could tell by their age and their stories, they had their sons or daughters were GWAT veterans. They were of that era. And they came home with the experiences we all have, and they're exhibiting behavior that the parents don't know where it came from. It's completely unreasonable. It's not connected to the way they raised their children, and they don't know. And then they watch this movie, and it's like the light bulb gets turned on over their head, and they're just like, oh, now I get it. Now I know where that behavior that has no source for where it came from. Now I know where it came from. Now I know where the source is.
And then you know how to begin to address it. And that's a long road, man, trying to address getting off the head meds.
Yeah, because you can't just do it cold turkey. No. That's more dangerous than the effect of them.
Yes.
And you talk about the GWAT veterans, but I had a wife of a Vietnam veteran, and I know his story. He has shared his story with me. And she came to me with tears, and this is hard. And she said that she lived that. With him on the floor, curled up in a ball and ready to kill himself. And she talked him down many, many times. And they didn't know how to deal with it. And they finally learned that it was the medications, and he's off the medications. And he's learning how to deal with his PTSD. Because, yes, he still has it. It's a normal feeling, a normal reaction for us veterans. A lot of other people also, but particularly us veterans, that's a normal feeling. We just have to learn how to cope and deal. And he is doing that, and he's living a good, productive life. And he's a grandfather and a father, and he's enjoying life. And he didn't do that.
That's wonderful.
Not many years ago.
Well, our friend Mr. Luttrell down in Texas, I saw a clip from him in D.C. the other day, and he's spot on with a whole other issue that nobody pays attention to yet, and that's how many spouses get PTSD from their spouse on these medications.
They're getting, man. Like, I feel bad for the families because you've got to deal with just whatever the veteran's dealing with, you're dealing with, and then you've also got to put that into context of all the other things that you have to deal with.
Right.
But they're dealing without the tools. They haven't been made mentally resilient. They haven't been put through all the training we were through to address it. Sometimes as poorly as we do, but it's better than somebody who has no training.
That is why we do the integration event, right? We are trying to show people there are other ways up the mountain. The healing does not have to be something terrible. It doesn't have to be the bitter pill. It can be something that connects to you, that allows you to remember who you were before you went along with this idea that you're broken somehow. And like, you saw Angie, pardon me, crying there in that video. It wasn't me, it was the pills. Yeah, I think that's a very common experience that a lot of people have. And unfortunately, to go back to I was leading off earlier about the incident down in San Antonio this week. Luckily, it was not a 19th suicide. There have been 18 across the country now. But this particular gentleman had been trying to come off of his pills for some time. He'd been seeking help. It's the Mark Miller story all over again. Hey, I don't want to be on these things anymore. They're making me miserable. This is no quality of life. I need to get off these things. It's painful. And I guess he wasn't getting the help that he wanted, was turned away from the VA. He just cold turkey titrated off of them, reached back out for help, came back in, was basically told, well, go back on your meds. And it wasn't what he was trying to hear. So, he's not in a good headspace anyway at that time. So he leaves. And then I think he was trying to address it in some other way and finally got frustrated and called the VA for help again, saying, hey, I'm in crisis and you guys aren't helping me. I'm sending up the flag. Please do something, which again parallels both, Mark Miller, Ricky Ramos, all the 16 others across the country that have gone through the same thing. And you know what they did? They called the damn police department and reported him for terroristic threats. And so now this help that this veteran has received is he caught a felony for terroristic threats. So, that's currently going on down there. So I know we're putting up the bat signal, trying to get our buddies in the VFW on the national side and then Texas side to see if we can't help this veteran out in some way. And this is not the first time that the foundation, the VFW, have had to step in. About a year ago now, we had another veteran who was a special forces guy, and he ended up in crisis, and his wife called the police department, for veteran in crisis intervention. And he ended up getting arrested and caught 3 felonies. And of course, once he had the old contempt for cop, the cops starts trying to look for all the other things they can throw on this guy for. I think they got him for kidnapping because his vehicle was parked behind his wife's car in the driveway and she couldn't leave. They gave him obstruction. They gave him resisting. And then, all the other things. So it's there's a lot of work that needs to be done in terms of raising awareness about this issue. And so our approach at it is we think that this incredible movie, Medicating Normal, can tell this story. It can it tells it by making you experience what it is that we're trying to talk about. And until you have seen that movie or until you have walked a mile in those shoes, it is very difficult to fully grasp and comprehend just how deep and dark of a hole that is. And now, Quincy, I know that this was your first time seeing the movie this past weekend. How would you describe it prior to watching the movie, during the movie, and then after the movie in terms of this topic?
I knew about the over-medication. I didn't know how hard it was to come off of the medication. That surprised me. And that they kept medicating medication, the effects of medication, that people kept getting that medicated. And that they didn't know. They weren't told. People weren't told what it could do to you. They weren't told about the side effects that are known, that are in studies. And they weren't told. And
that's what's coming about with this informed consent conversation. Mm-hmm. We brought on Derek Blumke onto the foundation here a couple of years ago to stand up our War Cry for Change effort, and this is the singular issue that program of our foundation is geared toward. And I think we've done a good job raising awareness. We've got a lot of other veteran groups that are now joining their voices to this problem, and we had 32 veteran organizations sign on with that, addressing the VA, and we were all summoned there to D.C. on Monday. And what came from that was they recognize there's an issue, and informed consent will be applied. There's some weird stipulations in there I don't fully understand. One of them being they're going to do informed consent on certain things, and other things they're going to do informed consent, but only for people up to the age of 30. because that's a higher risk profile. But again, the two guys, Ricky Ramos and Mark Miller, they were both in their 40s. This gentleman from this week down in San Antonio, I think he was 47, 48. Derek, our own Derek Blumke, he went through crisis when he was in his mid 30s and up in that area of time. So, I mean, this isn't something that just happens to people that are 30 or under. That's crazy.
No, if you go into any veteran organization, you're going to see a multitude of generations, including old people like me can still go through this and still need to know what we're getting. And that doesn't make sense that a 30-year-old should know, but I shouldn't.
Right.
I don't get that.
Well, we can all speculate on what's at play there, but quack, quack, quack. Quacks like a duck.
Yep.
So I'll let everybody else fill in their own blanks because I don't want to piss anybody off. We're getting traction on the old informed consent, so we'll play nice. So thank you, Doug Collins. We do appreciate it. This action alone is probably saving a lot of lives.
It's very important.
It's very important. So we've got to come up with a way to continue to spread the awareness of this movie, as it's kind of our main tool that we have in the toolbox to raise awareness. I know we're talking about trying to maybe get this thing out at the district level through our state. And, I don't know. Kenzie, what's your advice here? How do I get people engaged?
I liked Roy's about the conferences. We have 4 conferences in the VFW. So I like the idea of showing it there because we have people there, and that's a wonderful tool. We also have the auxiliary there, which is our family.
Yeah, they probably need to see it just as much or more.
Well, that's what we did in the state of Missouri. We showed it to both the VFW and auxiliary together because it's important that the families be involved in it. They're involved in it, just like Roy was saying. The families go through it too.
Yeah.
So that's important. District meetings, I would promote it in entirety across the state of Missouri. So that's going to be very easy to promote.
Fantastic. Well, we've got a game plan then, guys. Let's go get them. So, yeah. Well, all right. So let's go back. You just finished up your term as the state commander for the VFW in Missouri.
Second female.
Yeah, congratulations. That's a job well done. I had opportunity to work with you here and there in some of our activities up in Jeff City. And
I'm not gone yet.
Well, it's just a different role. Yeah. So what was that like being, I think we talked about that last time you were on the show about why you wanted to be, in that kind of a position of leadership. Well, this time I want you to tell us about what was that experience like? What was the goods and the drive you nuts and all the other things that are part of that role? People don't understand.
The good is being able to go around the state and the country. I've been a lot of places and meeting veterans and veterans' families and being able to promote veterans organizations, not just the VFW, but our partnership with Irreverent Warriors and things like that, and the good that we can do together as veterans organizations, and the good that the VFW does, because that's what we do. We support veterans. It was humbling. It was the biggest honor I will ever have in my life. I can't imagine having a bigger honor in my life.
You could be commander-in-chief.
Oh, yeah.
I think I might be too old to start going down that path.
Was it like the papacy, or you can't be the pope if you're above a certain age, or what?
No, I'm just thinking of my abilities.
Oh.
Abilities.
I'll root for you.
But, okay.
I'll help.
I see you guys put food for thought out there.
Yeah, man. That's what we do here.
We'll throw you under a bus.
Thank you, Roy.
We are a weirdo veteran think tank, if you haven't caught on. That's what we do.
I think I knew that.
Yeah, we're pretty bizarre.
The stuff that drives you crazy is I don't want to insult people. The not so good things that are sometimes done by veterans in some of our posts, and you have to shake your head and say, what were you thinking of? Why did you do that? You know better. And it's hard. You don't want to come down on a post, on post members or a post commander and let them know they've done wrong. And lots of times you can solve it by just saying, okay, turn back the clock and redo it. Hit rewind and do it right now. But every now and then they try to dig in their heels, especially, and I hate to say it, especially when it's a woman on the other end of the phone. And sometimes you have to do what you got to do.
Yeah.
And it's hard. But that's why we have the bylaws. That's why we have things that we're supposed to follow. It's a member-run organization, and that's how we do it.
Would you do it again?
In a heartbeat.
Yeah.
I would. I loved it.
Yeah. So now, how does one become the state commander for a state within the VFW? How does someone get there?
You have to be voted in by your members.
Okay.
Normally, there's a process. You start in, working through the chairs. We call it working through the chairs because there's so much to learn, and every state has a little bit different of their chairs, but it's always the junior, vice, senior vice, and then the commander. Some start with a surgeon. Some start with a adjutant. States are different because it helps you learn. But any member can get nominated off the floor, as I did for judge advocate. I didn't run. I didn't campaign for judge advocate. I was just voted in by my membership that chose me over another person. But every office in the higher level is voted in. Even Carol Whitmore was voted in. Corey Geisler, who's going to be installed in 4 weeks in Reno, he was nominated off the floor.
Yep.
And he was voted in off the floor because the members speak. We're a member organization.
Yeah, and he's a good guy too, man.
He
And
really
I tell you
is.
what, I am a huge Carol Whitmore fan. And I loved Al before her.
Oh, Al was fantastic.
They're just such good people.
Quincy had a major crush on Al.
I did.
Well, Tim had.
He was just a little bit taller than me, so it was a good thing.
Well, Al wasn't a basketball player height kind of guy, but he and Tim have had a weird bromance all through that, man. Those guys they're little two peas in a pod, man. But no, I loved him too. And so, now we got Corey coming up, and he's an IW guy, and just a tremendously talented man and smart. A lot of fun to sit and talk about. Your phone's ringing, Roy.
It was supposed to be in do not disturb mode.
It disturbed.
It did. We'll give you a
that's
pass.
why my mother called and she's got the pass on my phone to breach that.
Oh, well, hi, Mom. All right.
Do you need to call Mom back?
Yeah, do we
I'll
give
call
you
her
give her
back
some
later.
time? All right, we'll give some time. But yeah, we got Corey coming up, man. We've got all these other really interesting things. The VFW, our relationship with the VFW is incredibly important to us. If you're listening to this, folks, man, I will absolutely endorse it 100% times. Nobody does more for veterans than the VFW. And if you actually need to get something done, it is good to have the VFW in your corner and standing with you. I'm a life member myself, and it's very important, folks. We got to keep these numbers up in these chartered veteran organizations because a lot of people don't really understand this, but nobody's lobbying or really campaigning for the veteran as a demographic, through Congress and law and our government in general. And so we don't have lobbyists in that context. So these chartered veteran service organizations are the guys and gals that step into the firing line to take care of all that. And because they're chartered, there's rules that go along with that. And if they ever drop below a certain number, then that charter is at risk. And so we have to make sure we have numbers coming in to replenish the ranks. Yeah, an important thing.
And it goes with that squeaky wheel gets the grease.
That's right.
It's just it's that simple. The more we have in our numbers, the more Congress listens to us. Sometimes we don't think they listen to us near enough.
Oh, you're right.
But at least they listen to us, like you say, the informed consent and things like that. Without the chartered organizations, that never would have gone anywhere.
Yeah, and I tell people this one all the time. Like, if we lose these organizations, which are unions for veterans, there's no other way to say that, we'll never get a replacement. The political world we live in now, and if you don't notice, or if you don't know this already, when we say chartered, we mean congressionally chartered. So they're empowered by Congress to represent us.
Yeah.
And if we lose them, we'll never get a replacement for one we lose.
It'll come back in some weird bizarro form, or it'll just be a new entity. But yeah, so it's important. These national VSOs, man, the VFW, the American Legion, all these groups serve a very important role and important function. So yeah, we want everybody that is part of Irreverent Warriors. If you're eligible for one, join it. We need it.
One of the things that I tell people when I'm trying to recruit members is Congress doesn't give us anything out of the goodness of their heart.
That's right.
They only give it to us because we fight for it.
That's right.
So that's why we need people, because that's how we're going to fight for veterans' rights,
They-
and veterans' families' rights.
That's absolutely right. And we're seeing it play out right now in this battle over bringing down the suicide numbers. You know, this we have lost over 162,000 veterans since 9/11 of 2001. I mean, that's more than, the big wars, all put together. That's crazy. That is a crisis, is what that is. And so, we've got to keep chopping that down. And, we've been the lone little voice there on this particular issue, but, the VFW coming in and making that a national priority, and then the American Legion comes in, now the DAV, all these groups. There's Mom again. Hi, Mom.
These partnerships are so important, so that we're not just one veteran organization standing alone.
That's right.
Multitude. We have the large voices.
Yeah, and we can wield that thing, man. That's what my big takeaway has been coming from, because when we did the PACT Act, it took forever to get momentum, and everybody was like, well, this just can't be done. You're talking about something that's so far into the world of fiction that we're not going to waste times and assets on this. And Congress had every, considerations of funding and all these other kind of crazy things that were going along with it. Nobody wanted to get involved. But once we started talking about it, and once it, creates that fear of missing out within the veteran community, and then, everybody starts coming along, then the Congress had a problem on their hands, and they still played games.
And that's the single largest form of veteran legislation since the GI Bill.
Yes.
Is the PACT Act.
Yes.
And it's done so much good. It's brought so much good for our veterans and so much help for our veterans.
And they're back to playing games again this week. With the STAR Act.
With the,
We're gonna roll the STAR Act in under a whole nother bill, and we're gonna make one group of veterans pay for it, so another group of veterans can get it.
Well, I would love to know more about that. Let's look into that and talk about that next week, because we lend our voice to the cause of the Richard Starr Act. Because I can't post anything on social media without a veteran going, "What about the Richard Starr Act?" And I know the VFW is the exact same way. It's like it's Red Friday, everybody. Wear your shirt. Where's the Richard Starr Act, you assholes? And
all right, explain the red shirt.
Oh, the red shirt? Yeah. So remember, everyone deployed Red Fridays. So on Fridays, the veteran community, we like to wear red in recognition of that. I always don't do a good job. Quincy's really good minder for me on that, cracks my knuckles. And so, I have to make sure
Someone's got to do it.
I know it. You're the woman for the job. Well, guys, I think we're getting close up to the end of the hour here, so I think we're going to wrap it up. But thanks, good conversation today. I think we really just gave some time to hold some space for some pretty important issues, and we're going to keep chipping away at that iceberg. And thank you very much, Quincy,
for having me again.
helping us get this out to the folks that need to hear it. And thanks for coming on and giving us some of your valuable time to talk about the experience of this unique role that you've been in that not very many other people have ever been in. So that's pretty cool on its own. And we'll continue to cheerlead and support you however we can be helpful for your endeavors ahead as the judge advocate, right?
Yes.
Yes.
And I have your number.
You do.
I do.
You're welcome to use it. So we'll see each other at July the 4th, and we'll see you guys
Absolutely.
on July the 4th if you make it to St. Louis for the big show. We'd love to have you. Roy, any parting words or thoughts?
No.
All right.
Other than hop on YouTube and check out Medicating Normal.
That's right.
Call your mom.
Share it and share it.
And Roy needs to call his mom.
Yeah, Roy.
I am a mama's boy. I have no problem admitting this. I love my mother.
Well, all right, everybody. That's going to wrap it up for us today here on this Friday live stream. If you are so inclined, this work runs on donations from people like you. So if you are so inclined and feel called, please run over to gruntstylefoundation.org and click that donate button. And, we would very much appreciate that. And that'll help us keep this little engine that could on the tracks and keep on going. So until next time, everybody, we will be back again next Friday at the same time. And one last thing, we had a new Triangular Compass episode drop this week. It's featuring the good folks down at Camp Hope down in Farmington, Missouri. It's a whole hour-long podcast about hunting as a healing modality, and they're doing some incredible work down there at Camp Hope. They're taking wounded veterans, folks that are dealing with issues that are related to their injuries sustained in combat, and they're taking these guys and gals out and giving them opportunity to hunt deer and turkey and go on float trips and all kinds of really cool stuff. So that's a very impactful episode. Mr. Will White is his name, was the gentleman that founded that, and he started that work in memory, in honor of his son Christopher White, who was killed in Iraq in 2006. But that's a great episode. It's on our social media streams and on our YouTube channel. So, yeah, give it a watch, everybody. Until next week, we'll see you all next time. And be safe, be kind to each other, and stay waxy. We'll see you later.
Thank you.
Do good things for your country.